Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about the new, or relatively new I should say, Flawless Fusion Ultra-Longwear Foundation by Mercier. So this was launched maybe by now a few months ago. I heard about it right before Hurricane Irma. So it's been a while now, but I'm just now getting around to testing it out and doing my review. I've been wearing this foundation for the last week, so I've been able to develop a pretty well-rounded opinion. I've tried it with primer, without, kind of the whole 9 yards, just really gave it the full test. So this is what the box looks like, pretty typical Mercier. And then the bottle also looks very similar to other Mercier foundations. I think, not the Silk Cream, but the Candle Glow foundation has a similar bottle. So glass bottle, it has a really pretty dark brown cap. And this is the shade Ecru. This is the shade that I'm wearing on my face today. So this is, as I said, a Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear foundation. So it is longwear. It has a matte finish, and it is medium to full coverage. So on the website, it describes this foundation as being best suited for dry, normal, and sensitive skin. That is according to Mercier. So in my personal experience, I found this foundation to be very matte, like a soft, flat, true matte foundation. My initial thoughts the very first time I ever applied it was, one, oh my gosh, this is very matte. Two, a little bit goes a long way, so you really don't need much on your brush to be able to cover your full face, which is nice. But it dries down relatively quickly, not as quick as some other longwear foundations, but it almost feels and looks like it's drying to powder on your face. So I would not recommend this for somebody with dry skin. Of course, you can tell by the title of the video, this is really going to be best for anybody with oily skin. If you like a matte foundation, if you're oily, if you are super oily and you need something with coverage, this is going to be an amazing foundation for you. Personally, I have pretty combination skin. I definitely get oily throughout the day, and even this was a little bit too matte for my personal opinion. It's matte and it looks matte. I think there are some other matte foundations like the YSL All Hours foundation or even the Power Fabric from Armani that still give you a little luminosity. This is not going to be that foundation. However, there are certain little hacks that you can use. So adding a liquid illuminator, using a beauty blender. I've used this today with the Mercier Radiance Primer. So I think this is like a marriage made in heaven if this is the right foundation for you and you don't want it to look that flat on your skin. You want a little bit of light reflection. This Radiance Primer will solve that problem, and you'll be fine. You'll absolutely love it from then on. To apply this foundation today, I used my Duo Fiber brush, and I would recommend using a beauty blender if you have one, or on the website it even mentioned there's a Mercier egg-shaped sponge that they recommend using, and so that's going to really help pick up any excess product. The first time I used it, I did use a flat top kabuki and I didn't love the results, so I haven't been using that. Also on the website, something that I found interesting was it gave a few recommendations for how to apply this foundation. So it said to focus on one area at a time, and again, that's not really unexpected when it comes to a longwear foundation. They tend to dry down very quickly and get tacky. This foundation does not get tacky on the skin. I want to say the Chanel Longwear does kind of almost get a little bit goopy, tacky, difficult to move once it dries down. So this doesn't do that. It stays very soft, kind of pliable, even though it does dry quickly. That is one really nice benefit from this foundation. So you still want to work in kind of sections on the face. Don't just do little like dots and then go back, because it is going to be drying down as the moment it gets out of the jar. It also said to use a primer. So that was something that whenever I read it online, I was like, oh, yeah, no kidding. Because my first time I used this, I really felt like it needed a primer. It was breaking up on my face later in the day. Since I've been using it with a primer, I haven't had that issue. But I would say if you're somebody like me, I usually don't wear a primer on a day-to-day basis. When I'm using this foundation, I will always use a primer. It just helps give you that flawless, even coverage. It's gonna help make the makeup last longer, look better throughout the day. And I didn't have that breaking up like in this area on my face once I started using the primer. It also said to avoid over applying in the center of the face where lines could be accentuated. So that I also found to be very true. Again, if you used a beauty blender or a sponge to apply, I think you wouldn't run into that issue. But the first time I used it versus now are kind of night and day experiences. So my initial thoughts were that I hated this foundation. I've come to slowly love it after using it for a couple other days, and I guess that's kind of to be expected when you try something new. You don't really know how to use it, you know, the little tricks and tips to kind of make it work for you, and then as you kind of adjust your routine, you can really get kind of the best results out of the product. So the first time I applied it, I felt like it was too cakey, just too dry on my face. I was breaking up on my skin. My face was already peeling as it was. And then my little smile lines right here I felt were very accentuated, like immediately after applying it. It didn't even take very long and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like the mummy right now. And I have pretty oily skin, so I'm not used to having like those dry patches, and it just didn't look very nice. So what I have come to do is I always exfoliate, I hydrate, make sure I put on a really nice hydrating primer, and then of course if you want some radiance, go ahead and do that as well. And then after that, I really do enjoy this foundation. The only con that I can really think of about this foundation after trying it several days and kind of making the adjustments necessary is that it is so powdery, flat, matte. If you like that look, you're gonna love this foundation. But for me, I just need to do something, add something, prime with a radiance primer, do something to change it up so that the finish gives me a little bit of glow, because that's what I personally prefer. But overall, for a long wear foundation with full coverage, I would say that this foundation delivers. Thank you so much for watching my review of the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra-Longwear Foundation. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me any of your comments or questions down below. I love hearing from you guys. What foundations are your favorite? If you've tried this foundation, what were your thoughts or what was your experience? And of course, I'm going to be linking all of the products that I'm wearing today on my face down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe.